What's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. Hope all you're having a great day so far. It's a beautiful day, sunny out. Um, Viewer discretion is advised in this video because you know what? Today it's time to get it. I have to get real on this video. I really do. I have to be really, really honest today. Like I'm honest every other day about my opinions, but today I'm laying it all on the table today as far as what's going on with these storylines. Not just the storylines, but with the characters. I'm putting it all on the table. And I have to because you know what? It's time that we have real talk. After watching today, it's time that we get fucking real because after the comments I seen yesterday, it had me scratching my head. I was baffled by some of these comments yesterday. I understand where a lot of you are coming from with the Ava situation. Believe me, I do. I never once said Ava didn't deserve that slap because she did. What I'm saying is it's wrong to put your hands on your mother. Not saying she didn't deserve it, but it was wrong. But at the same time, we got to get real here. Because after what I watched today, the hypocrisy on this bitch is ridiculous against Julian and Ava. So let's get real. Julian and Ava, when they first came to town 5 years ago, they came to town to take over. They did. They came to town to fuck shit up, take Sonny out. That was their plan. That was their goal. Now, they were wrong for the way they went about everything. They used Morgan to get it done. But Morgan was easy to use because he was feuding with Sonny and Michael at the time. So he was a willing participant. But Julian was still fucked up for using that kid, against his own family. He was fucked up for that. And I feel like during these 5 years, not only the Corinthos family, but I feel like the Jerome family, they all collectively paid a price for everything that happened over the last 5 years. At some point, they all paid a price. Ava was shot over a bridge. She spent some time in jail. Sonny went to prison for a little minute. He got shot, ended up in a wheelchair, paralyzed. His son died. Julian went to prison. Julian was being blackmailed by his sister. Julian got ran over by a car. At some point, they all paid some type of price for every decision that they made over the last 5 years with this feud between the two families. They all paid some sort of penance. They all have. We can't deny that. But my thing is, I will commend Julian because out of him and Ava, he really has changed and he's kept up the change. Ava changed for a little minute, but she didn't really fully change. Because let me tell you something about people like Ava and Julian. They're a work in progress. But I give Julian more props because he hasn't really reverted back to his old ways, so to speak. Except for him helping Brad out with the whole baby situation. But I feel like he helped him because he didn't know the full story. Not making excuses for him, but I'm just speaking the facts. Julian didn't know the whole story about Michael, Nell. He just got the abbreviated version of what Brad told him. And Michael and Nell never even popped up in the story. In Brad's version of the story. He told him a homeless woman gave him the baby. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand why Julian helped him. Because I feel like if Julian knew the whole story, he may have told everybody the truth and he may have done the right thing. I can't say that for certain, but I'm assuming he would have. Especially with this newfound change that he got. Ava, I commended her when she was with, Griffin because she did try to change. She really did. But with people like Ava and Julian, they're a work in progress. Ava more than Julian. Ava's way more of a work in progress than Julian because Julian has changed and he meant his word. He stuck to his word. Ava, as soon as something bad went down, Ava reverted right back to old ways. As soon as it happened, she reverted right back to it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just her nature. That's how she was raised. That's how she grew up. You do something to me, I got to get you back. She's all hell-bent on revenge. You know what I'm saying? And I was okay with her getting revenge on Griffin at first. I was okay with that at the time. Because Griffin, even today, him and Kiki were acting so holier than thou. I will say, Kiki impersonating Ava, like the conversations that Ava and Griffin would have, Kiki impersonating it was dead on. That shit was spot on. Griffin did apologize a lot, and Ava, every time, Ava did something bad or whatever, and that conversation was spot the fuck on. It was. So shout outs to you. Kiki did a good job with that. Because it was. It reminded me of past conversations that Ava and Griffin would have. She was spot on with that. Um, but my thing is, her and Griffin, they act so holier than thou. And what's funny was Ava came over there to apologize and make amends. And she came over there with tears in her eyes, hugging Kiki. Oh, you're my daughter. I love you. Soon as she saw Griffin, that switch flipped and the bitch came back out. The bitch and Ava came right back out. She was so motherly and nurturing when she was at the door. As soon as she saw Griffin, that evil bitch came right back out of her. You seen the devil come out. And what was so crazy was, you know, Griffin and Kiki were just acting so holier than thou. And that's the problem I have with Griffin. Griffin, I will say to an extent, is a good guy. You know, he's a good man. You know, he doesn't mean people any harm. But my problem with him is he acts so damn perfect. That's the problem. And I feel like he tried to mold Ava into this woman that he wanted her to be instead of accepting her flaws and all. He would not accept her flaws. My thing about people is if you can't be with somebody and accept their flaws, you don't need to be with them. Because my thing is people need to change. If you really want to change your personality or how you go about things or your mindset, you have to do it for you. You can't do it for nobody else. Because if you're doing it for other people, it's not going to last and it's not genuine. So when I saw Ava starting to change herself for Griffin, I knew it wasn't going to last because she was doing it for a dude. She wasn't doing it for herself. Even if she tried to change for Avery and Kiki, it wouldn't have worked because you're doing it for other people. You're not doing it for you. You got to change for you. That's the only way it's ever going to last and it's going to work. You know what I mean? She wasn't doing that. So that's why I knew it wasn't going to last with her and Griffin. Griffin is too damn perfect. Well, he acts like he's too damn perfect and you're not. When you were a priest, you slept with a married woman. You know what I'm saying? And him and Ava got into a little spat and now you sleeping with her daughter. Well, you slept with her. You know, and then what's funny to me is everybody keeps bringing up, oh, but Ava slept with Morgan. Let's correct this real quick. Let me correct something real quick. She slept with Morgan the second time when he was back with Kiki. That is true. The first time she slept with him in 2013 at the hotel was when Kiki made the decision to be with Michael. She chose to be with Michael. She left Morgan that night. So when Morgan slept with Ava that night, he was no longer with Kiki. Was it wrong for her mother to still sleep with him anyway? Yeah, it was a little wrong, but there was no cheating involved though. So people need to correct that and stop saying, oh, she cheated with Morgan. Morgan was no longer with Kiki. And let's be real here. Kiki was no saint. When Kristen Alderson was playing the role, Kiki was no saint. She was up in Michael's apartment. Remember when her and Morgan was staying at Michael's apartment? She was all half dressed on purpose in front of Michael, making googly eyes about him, fantasizing about him. Come on, she wasn't no angel. Everybody act like Kiki was so damn perfect. No, she was no angel. She was no angel. No, she wasn't. Like fantasizing about your husband's brother. You know, like that was trifling. Um, Kiki's not perfect. You know, she sat there and helped Morgan switch out Michael's medication. The same thing she accuses Ava of doing to Morgan, she did to Michael. Pot, meat, kettle. I'm breaking it down today. Since everybody want to say, oh, but Ava did this, Ava did that. Let's talk about the shit Kiki did. That's what people don't understand. And people keep saying, oh, but she hasn't done anything worse than Ava. I never disagreed with that. Ava has done things worse than some people. And I say some. Because not everybody in that town, you know, and this is how I feel. Everybody in that town is not better than Ava. Some people talking about, oh, yes, they are better than. No, they're not. No, they're not. Name me one person in that town that's better than Ava, minus the kids. And even some of them kids got dirt by their name. Like, come on now. There ain't really not too many people in that town that you can say. I feel like nobody is better than nobody. Even in real life. Like, nobody's better than nobody, in my opinion. I don't care if you ain't got no criminal record. That don't make you better than somebody. You know what I mean? Like, you're more of an upstanding citizen maybe, but you're not better. But my thing is, though, everybody in this town got dirt. Everybody got scandal next to their name. Is it as big as Ava's? No. But that don't mean that they're any better than her. And some of these people are still out here breaking the law, doing dumb shit. That don't make them better than her. They're never going to be better than her. Nobody's better than anybody. Ava's not better than nobody, and nobody's better than her. Let's put it that way. Um, so yeah, you know, what pisses me off about Ava though today, and I tell people this all the time, I'm an Ava fan. I love Ava. But let me tell you something, I will call that bitch out anytime, any day. Anytime I see her doing some dumb shit, I'm gonna call her out. I'm gonna call anybody out. The only person, y'all should know this answer, the only person I will never call out, and that's Helena Cassadine. She's the only one that gets a pass from me. Only one who could do no wrong in my eyes. Everybody else is fair game. Um, I do agree with a lot of you though. Ava is taking it too goddamn far. Everything she's saying about Kiki, she's taking it too far. That's your daughter. You're taking it too far. If that's your child, why are you treating her like this? And Kiki's just sitting there like, you know, she's unbothered. It's clear that she wants to be with Griffin. That's obvious. But it was just so funny to me, the hypocrisy coming out of both their mouths. Like, they really need to get off their high horse because they're not better than her. They really like sit there like they're so morally rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we're better than you. You know, no, you're not. No, you're not. Y'all both got scandal next to y'all name too. Y'all just maybe y'all haven't murdered anybody, but that don't make you better than her by any stretch. You're not better. Um, but Ava's taking it too far. So now she's basically declared war on Kiki and Griffin. She has declared war. She told Julian basically, that bitch is my enemy. I said, wow. Once you declare somebody your enemy, it's real. And she basically declared Kiki her motherfucking enemy. She said, that bitch is my enemy now. I said, oh, hell. And did you see the look on her face and the tone in her voice when she called Kiki her enemy? Kiki better watch her ass. And remember, Kiki still has another enemy that's swirling around out there. I don't know if y'all remember. David Bench, Dr. Bench. Remember, he's still lurking around out there somewhere. Kiki got two enemies. She got Ava on this side, Dr. Bench on this side, and the problem is she don't know when which one will strike at what time. Because I'm telling you, Dr. Bench is playing to something. We haven't seen him since that trial. We haven't seen him since he got fired from the hospital. So that means he's off screen somewhere planning his revenge. Ava now is planning her revenge. I said, damn, Kiki, you in all type of trouble here. You got two pissed off, deranged people coming at your throat right now. You don't even know which direction they coming from and what they got planned for you. You don't even know. And I feel bad for her because it's like you got a storm coming your way. You got a hurricane coming your way. Two hurricanes. Matter of fact, you got a hurricane and a typhoon coming your way. You better bat down the hatches. I'm just saying, you better, you know, call Sonny and get some guards. Get some security or something because that's your ass. And another Jerome that's pretty much getting shitted on in this town, Julian. I mean, like I said, I get why everybody in that town don't like him and Ava. I totally understand. I get it. And it's well deserved. But everybody else need to get off their soapbox. Like, get off y'all high horses. Y'all are no better than these people. Jason comes over there at Charlie's pub to give him the check that Sonny wrote to fix the damages to the basement and stuff like that. And also to basically tell Julian to keep his fucking mouth shut about Mike and this, that, and the third about that body. But I love the conversation Julian had with Jason, though, because Julian pretty much wanted Jason to get to know him and to see him as someone who's no longer a threat to the Corinthos organization. Because when Julian was in prison, he got clarity. Because what people need to understand about Julian is Julian was basically forced in the business. He was forced in the mob by his father, Victor Jerome, back in the 80s and stuff, back in the day. You know, he really didn't have a choice because you got to remember, when you grow up in a mob family, back especially during that time frame in the 70s and the 80s, the fathers always dreamed of their sons being in the mob. John Gotti's son, John Gotti Jr., was in the mob. And he recently got out after he got out of prison, or he went to prison, he got out the mob. He was kind of forced into that lifestyle because people got to understand that time frame. This is around the 70s and 80s where the sons were expected to be a part of the business. You know, it's different from Sonny and them, you know, nowadays, because Sonny doesn't want none of his kids in that business. You know what I'm saying? But it was different during that time frame. Fathers expected their sons to take over the business. That's how it was. You know, John Gotti expected his sons to take over the business, and, you know, other mob bosses expected their sons to be in the business. That's what they expected of you back in the 70s and the 80s, and probably the 90s too. That's what I don't really think they expect it now, but back then that's what it was tradition basically. So that's why Julian just wanted Jason to know, like, I was forced kind of into this business where I didn't have a choice but to be in the business. But now that I'm grown, my father's dead, I now have a choice to do what I want to do. And that's what Julian did. He chose to be a legitimate businessman. And I believe that he's sincere. For me, I believe he's sincere. And I think in Jason's face that you could kind of tell that he got a new understanding of Julian. That's the way I'm interpreting it. I'm assuming he got a new understanding of him. Because even Jason told Sonny, Julian was my father-in-law or whatever, so I want to get to know the guy. You know what I mean? Like, but what pissed me off about Jason is he brought up the fact that Julian held a knife to Alexis's throat. Everybody, even fans, keep bringing this up. But I said this before. You want to know what's so funny that people never bring up? Why don't anybody ever bring up the fact that 5 years ago, Sonny held a gun on Carly and threatened to shoot her? People forgot that. It's the equivalent of what people are accusing Julian of with Alexis. Julian held a knife to Alexis's throat. Sonny held a gun on Carly. What's the difference there? The only difference is that one had a gun, the other had a knife. There's the only difference. But yet everybody wants to condemn Julian, though. But don't nobody say shit about Sonny. How about the fact that 11 years ago, Jason threatened to kill Sam? Do people forget that? In case you don't know what I'm talking about, he threatened her in the park. Look it up on YouTube. August 2007. He threatened to kill Sam. But nobody brings this stuff up, though. But whenever there's a conversation about Julian, people bring up, oh, but you tried to kill Alexis. This is what I'm talking about. Sonny and Jason and everybody else in that town are no better than Julian. This is what I keep trying to tell people, but nobody wants to listen. I try to be totally unbiased with these characters because, like I said, Helena's the only one I'm biased towards. Everybody else, even if you're my favorite, you get called out. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of Sonny and Jason, but it's like I call everybody, I call a spade a spade. You know what I'm saying? You got to keep it real. I can't do a review if I'm not going to be honest. You know what I mean? They all got dirt under their hands. All of them. Julian, everybody. Just call it what, saying it like it is. That's how I have to do it. I wouldn't be real if I didn't. You know what I mean? So anyway, Jordan, she's sitting there at the Corinthos house or whatever with circumstantial evidence. First of all, her evidence don't even make sense. So she got the ballistics report back from that bullet that was in that body. So apparently that bullet belonged to a gun. I don't even think they have the gun. They got the bullets, not the gun. So she claims the bullet comes from a gun that was used in a shootout back in Brooklyn in the 80s or whatever, back in the day. So she claims, she claims that Sonny's father was living in Brooklyn at that time. So he lived in Brooklyn at the time of the shootout along with hundreds of other people. How you just gonna single-handedly point him out? How you just gonna single him out? You know how many people lived in Brooklyn during that time? And he's the only one that you could think of. Oh, Mike Corbin. Yeah, he was in Brooklyn, so therefore he must have been a part of it. How you sound? Like, that's the dumbest piece of evidence. I take it back. Jordan, here I would see what I'm talking about? You give somebody a compliment and they fuck it up already. Remember when I said we got a new Jordan? That means, and she was competent? Yeah, she was competent that day, but now that competence done ran out the room because now you just talking crazy. How the hell you gonna say that bullet, how does that sound to you? That bullet was tied to a gun that was used in a shootout in Brooklyn back in the day. Your father lived in Brooklyn back in the day. So did hundreds of other people. Hello? Anybody could have pulled that trigger. Anybody in Brooklyn could have been a part of that shootout. Who's to say Mike was a part of it? You know what I mean? People live in Brooklyn. Like, I'm just saying, like, there's a lot of people that live in Brooklyn. Mike wasn't the only one. I'm just saying, like, how do you come to that conclusion that, it must have been Mike? Out of hundreds of Brooklyn people. You need to be fired. New Jordan, old Jordan, y'all just all incompetent. Get fired. Like seriously, I was like, what the hell? Sonny basically was like, you ain't got no evidence. It's all circumstantial. So she basically telling Sonny, well, it's a matter of time before, we got to arrest Mike, I guess, because the walls are closing in on him. You really think a judge is going to send that man to prison? A 70-something-year-old man with Alzheimer's. You think they're going to send him to jail? He ain't going to no prison. I don't care what evidence you got. He ain't going to no prison. Ain't no judge that heartless. Um. So anyway, as usual, I did like the scene with Mike and Stella. I love how involved Mike is with picking out his his facility that he may want to go to. He's really looking at them and reading the pamphlets and picking three that he likes the most. So the three that he likes the most are the ones that he's gonna go visit. One of them was the day center where he can go to the facility for a day and then he could come home at night. So he picked that one to go look at, and along with two others. I like that though, that he's more involved in it. Nobody's forcing it on him. He's involved. He's alert. He knows what he wants. I like that. They're doing it now before it's really, really too late. Because even he mentioned to Stella, how long will it be before I forget who you are? You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't. His health is deteriorating. So now is the perfect time to get all this done. Um, of course, Stella, when she saw Jordan, she still was not here for Jordan. She still can't stand her. I said that's natural. So moving on from that. So apparently the baby, Wiley, has the same heart defect that Michael has. And even Carly was shocked by it. And Monica was like, Michael had that heart defect when he was a baby. AJ had that same heart defect when he was a baby. Both of those required surgery. AJ had to have surgery. Michael had to have surgery. And you want to know what's funny though? How when Monica mentioned AJ, Carly quickly, Carly never even acknowledged AJ in this conversation. She just kept mentioning Michael. And I love how Monica kept mentioning AJ. Because she was like, because when Monica said, "Oh, AJ had the same condition," Carly, it was like back and forth because Carly was like, "Michael had to have surgery." Monica was like, "AJ had to have surgery too." I like how she kept mentioning AJ in front of Carly. Like, you're not gonna, she basically, it seemed, even though I'm probably reading too much into it, it kind of seemed like she was saying, "You're not gonna diminish my son's memory." In a way, I like that. I don't know if they threw that in there trying to see if anybody was gonna catch it or if it was set up that way, but that's how it seemed to me, and it was kind of funny. But I know some people are gonna say, "Oh, seeing as how the baby and Michael and AJ all had the same heart defect, how is nobody putting the pieces together?" The thing about that is though, is because heart defects in babies are not rare. Some of them are hereditary, but some babies are born with heart defects that the parents didn't have. You know what I'm saying? It just happens. It's not really a rarity. Um, like as an example, The Young and the Restless. Remember when Chelsea? I don't know if you watched that storyline a few years back, but when Chelsea got had Connor, her son with Adam, she tried to pass the baby off as Dylan's, who was played by Steve Burton at the time, and her son had a rare eye disease, which Adam had when he was a kid. So that's how Adam found out the baby was his because of that eye defect, that eye disease that the baby had that could make him go blind. Adam had the same thing. It was hereditary, but it was rare though. Heart defects in babies are not really rare. So that's why I'm figuring they're not putting the pieces together. But Carly was kind of squinting her eyes at Brad when Brad kept on telling him, "Oh, we shouldn't contact the birth mother. We should leave it alone because it could go away on its own." He just kept protesting too much. And when you protest too much, people start looking at you crazy. Like they start side eyeing you. Carly was side eyeing the shit out of Brad because he was protesting too much. And I want to reach through the TV and snatch the shit out of him and knock the fuck out of him. Because it's like, you know what? I'm getting tired of Brad. I'm getting tired of him. The more you keep trying to cover it up, the more the secret is about to come out. You're not going to hold the secret for long. You're not. It ain't going to happen, Captain. Not happening. So apparently the baby might not need surgery. He might just need to be on medication or, because Monica did say it could go away on its own. But anyway, I loved the scene between Michael and Maxie. Loved it, loved it, loved it. I keep feeling like every time they put Maxie and Michael together, it's like they're Kim testing them. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I don't know if they're 100% ready to put her with Peter, but it just seems to me like Michael and Maxie would make a great couple. They really would. I know I like them together. I do feel like they got that chemistry. And I feel bad for Michael because it's like every time he feels more comfortable whenever he's around Wiley and whenever he's around James. Like when he was holding James today, he just was in comfort mode. He was in a good spirit, and I like their conversations. How Maxie her and Michael are both grieving. You know, she's still grieving the loss of Nathan, and he's grieving his baby. So they're combining that grief and they're talking it out. I like that. You know, it's cool. I could definitely see Maxie and Michael together. You know, definitely. And that's a couple I would have never thought would ever be together. Never. And I could definitely totally see the two of them together. Most definitely. Um, so anyway, this was a pretty solid episode. I liked it. Hit the comment section. Let me know what y'all thought about it. If I'm forgetting anything, just let me know. But don't forget, smash that like button. I will see you all later. Peace.